Okay, excellent. And now finish premium economy. Now business class. Again, this is not new. Business class. I learned it from the message transporter. Booking class C or J. And it's not just J class. C class can be business class as well. And most of the business class are full fare and quite expensive. But sometimes they do have discounted but restricted business class fare. If you go to Air Canada website, you will find there is a flexible business class, and there's another one is a restricted business class, discounted. Okay, you will find the price is considerably cheaper, but that comes with a price. Is when it's cheaper, which means they have more restrictions. Normally, full fare business class, no restriction, right? But that's what? That's $10,000 one. But you can get a lower one, discounted one, but with restriction, like there's cancellation fee, there's change fee, right? And more amenity and premium food and wine services. This one compared with economy and premium economy. Okay, so business class comparison. I'm not going to go there. You will find it's going to be a huge difference. Okay, and depending on the aircraft, the older aircraft is still recline more and bigger seat, bigger pitch. That's it. Those are older aircraft. I'm telling you, for airlines still use those older aircraft, I'm not gonna compete well in the market now. Because let's face it, paying the same price, who wants to just use those crappy old style business class? Whereas that's really why now airlines, different airlines, internationally are trying to put fancy business class seats. Okay, so if you go there and look at the comparison, the pitch and then the width will be much bigger. And let's look at the Lufthansa business class. Okay, and what does it look like? And this one is not even the best kind of business class. I'm not going to finish the video, just give you some idea. So some people say this is pretty good. You see the seats can go quite straight, right? This one, if you put this kind of business class seat on the long haul route, nobody will go buy this seat because this is far away from nowadays high technology. Nowadays, long haul seat is not just you slide like this. Now, most of the international airline long haul business class is all flat. You can basically like a bed, you can sleep, okay? Because that one, it's not very comfortable. When you sleep like that, it's still not comfortable. It's like a flat bed, okay? And this kind of seat mostly used for the short and the medium haul business class. Medium haul, okay? Medium haul. And see, it's pretty good. But I'm gonna show you next one is, this one is very unique. It's called KLM Europe Business Class, okay? This one, KLM use it, some other airline uses similar business class. They call Europe Business Class. Because think about it, Europe is small, and when you fly between destinations, it doesn't take long. So let's see, huh?
It's in our nature. Everybody needs their personal space. But what are the boundaries of personal space for business people? That's what KLM wants to know, so they can improve their comfort level on business class throughout Europe. Leading social scientist Albert T. Hall defined personal space in 1954 as the region surrounding a person which they regard as psychologically theirs. Invasion of personal space can often lead to discomfort or anxiety on the part of the victim. What I've learned? Business people really appreciate their personal space. That's why KLM lets you sit next to an empty seat. Because that's what you'd want if you had the choice.
So that's KLM. I find this a pretty funny one, okay? So I find this one is the airline trying to get money without any investment. Because do they put any special seat for business class? Nothing. They basically just exact the same as economy. All you get is what? Nobody sits beside you, okay? So because sometimes, you know, when the airplane is not full, you can get that for free, right? So that's, but it's guaranteed. For domestic Europe and KLM, they say, okay, it's guaranteed. You pay business class seat, it's not going to be that more expensive. And nobody will sit beside you, okay? Will I pay that much? I don't know, okay? I don't think so. Out of my own pocket, no. But if my company pays for it, why not, right? Okay? So that's a little bit special, okay? And the first class, it will go a little bit posh. But like what I said, not all the airlines offer first class. Like Air Canada, no first class whatsoever. It's all business class. And for the higher level, it's either F or P, okay? Cabin crew to passenger ratio is like sometimes like a one crew serves like 3 people or 2 people, okay? So, and I'm not going to show you the video. Of course, the first class comparison, you will find it's much, much bigger. It's sometimes it's a suite, what means you can close the door even, okay? And so there's Air France La Première is a first class. And the one I want you make sure when you go home, I want you to watch is this Emirates A380. That's a suite. You know what? If it's not too long, because this is the best business class. What? You want the business first class. That's business class. Yes, there is a shower on board. For the Emirates, that's the only airline who has a shower in the airplane cabin. Okay, and that's a first class suite. And Emirates has the best first class on this A380 double decker because small aircraft will not fit this shower and the lounge, bar lounge. Okay, so they have the best one. Singapore Airlines is quite good too. They have a suite. Many airlines, when they put the first class, they try to use a suite style. It's some kind of a private space. You can either close the door or whatever. Okay, so it's pretty fancy, but the price is quite fancy too. Okay, I don't mind having a client traveling first class. Okay. Okay, so that's in-flight service. Very quickly, they have a cabin comfort, entertainment difference, meals and beverages, duty-free, and amenities. Okay, but this all, like if you look at the picture here, it's all business class or first class. Economy, you get the very basic. Okay. And the lounges, this one I want to point out because when you travel internationally, and this lounge service is quite unique, quite let's see the word, convenient or good to have. Okay, when you travel economy, most of the time you don't have a lounge access, but some airlines do give you option to purchase lounge access. But when I talk about lounge access, if you only have a 1 hour connection, will you pay $35? No, you won't, because 1 hour connection, you don't even have time to go there, okay? But when you have a more than 3 hours, 4 hours, even longer, and it's definitely worth money to use a lounge. Because most of the lounge, they're equipped with a shower, food, drink, okay? Relaxation area, business center, okay? It's a bigger airport, smaller airport is less, okay? So, who is eligible for the business class lounge? Okay, they have business class, first class lounge. Same day confirmed travel, which means yes, you travel business first, but has to be today's ticket. Okay, confirmed. And sometimes, if you travel first class, you may able to bring somebody another person into the lounge. Okay, even though that person doesn't travel first class. And also members of certain clubs. This one is so useful for business travelers. Because business travelers, what they do is they travel all the time, right? But nowadays, lots of companies, they don't pay business class. But because it's travel so often, the airlines love them. The airlines love them, okay? Because the more travel, the more money I'm going to get from you. So what they do is they give you some kind of executive club or low, premium or platinum or whatever, that they have membership. And then without a membership, even though you don't travel business class or first class, you still have the free access to the lounge. Okay? That's what. And the location is most of the time it's after security. After security. Okay? And most of the lounge is departure lounge, which means before you board, okay, departure lounge. And very few arrival lounge, arrival lounge. The Air Canada has one arrival lounge in London Heathrow, so I want you to write down, make sure. This arrival lounge can be very, very useful, because think about it, after 8 to 10 hours overnight flight, you must be extremely tired, right? Hungry, or whatever, right? So you want to get a fresh start before you get a new day, because most of the cross-Atlantic flight, you leave east coast of North America at night, you arrive early morning. Yeah, red-eye flight. And then, so when you get a new day, right, you probably need a shower, you want to eat something, right? So that's a benefit of arrival lounge. And then you get everything cleaned, and then you can visit London. Okay? So London has Air Canada arrival lounge. Very useful. Okay? And the business and first class lounge, some airlines, they have two lounges. One is for business class traveler and the first class traveler. Okay? Separate. And of course, first class lounge will be better. Even better food, better amenity, whatever. And now I'm going to ask you, I'm going to watch a video and talk about it. Is this worth it? Like what I said, yes, it's worth it if we have a longer connection, okay? Because the food at the airport sucks and expensive, so you can relax at the lounge. For me, if I have over 3 hours or 4 hours of connection, I would definitely pay for the lounge, okay? But again, different people are different, okay? Some people are saying, oh, I can just sit somewhere and have food rather than spending 50, 40 bucks. Again, personal preference. But for us, it's important to let our client know you have the option. Having said that, not all the airline will give you the option. When you buy economy ticket, not airline will say, oh, you can pay certain dollars to go to lounge. No. Okay? Some airlines say not strictly for business class. Okay? And there are videos linked here, and at home you can watch it. So baggage allowance, this is an important concept. Okay? Piece and weight concept. So what is a piece and weight concept? Did you learn baggage allowance in flight affairs? Yes, you did, right? What is the common baggage allowance? 23 kilo and 1 piece, right? 1 piece. Or sometimes it's what? 0, which means any luggage, checked luggage, you'll have to pay, right? So that's most of our in North America, we use piece concept. What is piece concept? That is they care how many pieces of luggage, okay? So you have a 1 piece for free, and a 0 piece for free, or 2 pieces for free. And each piece has a weight maximum, like most of 23 kilo, right? That's called a piece concept. But what is a weight concept? Weight concept is what? They don't care how many pieces. You can bring 10 pieces. Small bag here, small purse there, whatever, right? But all they care is what? You put everything together, how much you are allowed, okay? This weight concept is not common here in North America. Weight concept is quite common in Europe and in Africa and Asia, okay? But having said that, less and less common. Most airlines are changing to piece concept, okay? They probably don't want you to have 10 bags, purses, or whatever. They care because it's easier. Listen, it's easier for them to do what? By piece. When they put the baggage tag, it's just 1 piece, right? So more and more airlines are changing to weight concept, okay? Oh no, sorry, piece concept. So transatlantic and within Europe and Africa, like what I said, most of transatlantic, trans-Pacific, whatever airline, they use piece concept. Sometimes within Europe or Africa, they use weight concept. But like what I said, less and less, okay? And connection stopover. Here, I want you to pay attention, take notes, okay? Because it is very, very important for your clients, for you to know this difference. And also to let your clients know, because sometimes your clients assume, okay? I'll give you one example. Okay, so you have this itinerary. Ottawa connecting Toronto to Haneda, Haneda, Japan, okay, Tokyo. And then coming back, you change connecting in Vancouver, okay? So that's your itinerary, okay? So for now, we talk about baggage allowance, okay? So when you look at the baggage allowance, because some people say, okay, where are you going? I'm going to Haneda, Tokyo, Japan. So it's an international flight. So what they do, they go to international flight, they check the ticket, they check it, right? And they say, okay, you are allowed 2 keys for free. When I talk about the baggage allowance, I'm talking about free allowance, okay? 2 keys, each one 23 kilo, okay? So then the client say, okay, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring 2 suitcases, each one 23 kilo. I have a friend in Japan. I need to buy some souvenirs full of stuff. So for this itinerary, perfect, no problem, no problem. Because I'm telling you why. Because look at this itinerary. Yes, Ottawa to Toronto is domestic, right? Most of the time, domestic has lower baggage allowance, okay? If you just fly out to Toronto, chances are you're not going to be allowed 2 pieces of luggage and 23 kilo. But because this is an international itinerary, you only what? Connecting Toronto. Your baggage will go all the way to Haneda, okay? The only connection. So they consider this whole itinerary as 2 pieces. Okay, international baggage allowance. That's a good thing, no problem. Most people, if you just connection, perfect. Don't worry about it, okay? Listen, here is a problem. Sometimes, okay, it can happen like this. Look at this, okay? Same itinerary, same destination pair. But when they come back, they have a friend in Vancouver. They have a friend in Vancouver. And they decide to drop off some souvenirs, Japanese souvenirs, to their friend in Vancouver before coming back. The friends in Vancouver ask them to bring something, okay? So now, here is a problem. Most people just say, okay, I'm still traveling to Haneda. Mine is to Tokyo, Japan. It's an international flight. I'm allowed 2 pieces, 23 kilo each. That's their assumption. That's the reason why we say do not always assume. Most of your lines are different, a little bit different. So, outbound, no problem. Do you make connection or stopover in Toronto? Still connection, right? When it's connection, the whole ticket will be considered as international baggage allowance. So, no problem. 2 pieces, 23 kilo each. Okay? Even Ottawa to Toronto, same, domestic, no problem, because you only make connection. But coming back is a problem. Coming back, yes, you have no problem. Haneda to Vancouver, it's an international trip, right? International flight segment, you're allowed 2 pieces, 23 kilo each, no problem. Perfect. Fill up the luggage, no problem, and bring them. And the problem is here. Because you did stopover, this one is domestic now. When it's domestic, it's going to be considered domestic baggage allowance. And this part, unfortunately, you have to follow domestic. So if domestic, it's only 1 piece, 23 kilo, and by now, you still have yes, I emptied some stuff for my friend in Vancouver, I still have a 2 piece of luggage. Here's the problem, when you check in at the Vancouver airport, you need to recheck in, right? Because you just stopped. Here, they would just say, surprise, the second piece you have to what? You have to pay. So that's where the assumption makes mistake. Do not assume, yes, my itinerary is all international, always international. No. When there's a stopover involved, you have to pay attention. is there any difference between domestic or international baggage carrier? Make sense? This one? And so that's the reason why when I go to whenever I have a client who wants to go to Thailand, okay, who wants to go to Thailand, I always tell them this. When they want to go to Thailand, they do this. Okay, I want to fly into Bangkok, and I also want to go to Chiang Mai. No problem, right? But I always tell them, make sure you do stop over. Make sure you do stop over outbound in Bangkok. Why do I do that?
Because you must when you depart to another place, you must have brought like less luggage than when you go home.
Because you always think about it. When you come back, you make sure your 2 pieces of luggage will not be break into half as domestic as 1 piece. Okay? So always think for your client will not have extra piece of luggage charge. So each will whatever way. Okay? So that's just something to think about. And the check-in and the carry-on. Carry-on is again different airlines are different. Do not always assume all the airlines follow exactly the same. No, okay? Some airlines you're allowed 5 kilo carry-on. Some airlines you're allowed 10 kilo. Some airlines you have 1 piece. Some airlines you have 2 pieces. Okay? In Canada, I'm telling you, I've never seen anywhere in the world as generous as Canadian Airlines. Do you know what is the carry-on allowance you are allowed in Canada? Sorry? 10 kilo. You are allowed 10 kilo each carry-on luggage. You see, sometimes you see people have carry-on luggage quite big, right? And the 10 kilo, are you only allowed 1 piece? You're allowed 1 piece, 10 kilo. You're actually allowed another, is called personal item.
Yeah, like a guitar.
That's right, a guitar or a backpack, even like that. And that's another 10 kilo. So in North America, it's very generous. Okay? And whereas in Asia, you will find it's not that generous. Because most of the domestic flight carry on, guess what? 1 item, 5 kilo. That's it. And some airlines, some airports are very restrict. What they do, they even have a scale at the check-in. They make sure it's not over. Okay? So that's check-in and carry-on. And all this baggage allowance, you see, I gave you example 2 piece 23 kilo. It's just example. All the airlines are specific. They have different baggage allowance depending on the what? The route. Okay, where you are traveling to, depending domestic or transporter, depending within Europe or not. Okay, so whenever you look at the baggage allowance, you must make sure you pay attention to which airline and what booking class. Makes a difference. Economy, premium economy, business class, they all have different baggage allowance. Okay, and also the itinerary makes a difference as well. So very specific. And of course, another important thing is connection or stopover. Makes a difference as well. Okay? So that's about baggage allowance. And in class, we're not going to do the, there's a link. You can go there, go to each airline's website. Documentation. And we talk about the difference between domestic transporter and we talk about documentation. Now we go a little bit detail about documentation. Because when you travel internationally, you need what? Definitely passport. And another thing, you might need what? Visa. Like I said, Canadian passport has it's pretty good. Most countries we don't need a visa, but some countries we do need a visa. When we talk about passport, make sure you pay attention to the validity. When I talk about validity, what I'm talking about? Some people say, okay, look at my passport. I'm leaving in October. My passport expired in November. That's all right. It's still valid. Is that okay? My passport expired in November, I'm departing in October. It's still valid when I travel. Is that okay? Yes?
Depends. Some places ask it to be valid for like a month prior.
That's right, depending. Okay, some countries they don't care. As long as it's a valid departure, you're good. But most of the countries, when you check thematic, they're actually very strict. What they say is that not only your passport has to be valid at departure, your passport actually has to be valid 3 months after intended return. What does it mean? You are leaving November. You are coming back in January. Your passport must be valid until when? April, okay? So do not assume my passport is still valid. No, no, no. And some people, they ignore it, or as a travel counselor, you don't tell them, here's a problem. When they get on the airplane, they didn't check carefully, that's okay, you board the airplane. But when you're at the destination, what they can do? They can return you around, right there. And you know what? Who's gonna be in trouble?
Well, if you
Travel counselor will be in trouble, and guess who else will be in trouble?
people that turn around.
No, at the destination, they don't care.
No. Well,
Who's gonna be in trouble?
passengers.
Passenger, for sure, the inconvenience, right? The travel counselor will be in trouble, another person's airline will be in trouble as well. Because what? Because when they check a boarding at the gate, they are supposed to check the visa and say, okay, do you meet the requirement? Do you have visa? Is your passport valid 3 months after intended stay? Okay? So that's the reason why they check very carefully. Okay. So that's expiry date and dual citizenship. Anybody has dual citizenship?
Sort
No?
of.
Sort of?
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. So when you have dual citizenship, some clients, they might have dual citizenship. The important thing is that if your clients have dual citizenship, make sure you tell them, you suggest them, do not do this. Do what? They have a Canadian passport. They have a, what else? Let's see, Japanese passport. Let's see. Okay. Do not do this. You use your Canadian passport, travel from Ottawa to Tokyo, and then coming back, you're using your what? Japanese passport. That's a big no-no.
No.
Because what?
It's illegal to enter your home country with a foreign passport.
It is okay, but you have to make sure you use the same passport, because when you entry and when you leaving, what do they do on your passport?
Stamp.
They stamp. When they stamp, seriously, you pay attention. You look at your passport, look at the stamp. They have a in, they have a out. Sometimes they check very carefully. They make sure you have in. Because if you get out, you don't have in, that can be a problem, right? Sometimes no problem. Some people did that. But you don't want to get your clients in trouble, right? So suggest that. Citizenship. And next one is a visa. Some countries we do need a visa, okay? Many people don't realize. They think, oh, I can go to Australia, no problem. You do need a visa, right? What kind of visa do you need?
I forget, we did that in flights affairs.
You did flight affairs, huh?
You also need like an Australian citizen card or something.
If you don't have Australian citizen card,
Yeah.
you need a visa to go to Australia.
Yeah.
You need an e-visa. What is an e-visa? It's getting better. Is that you don't have to go to the embassy to do it, and there's no stamp on your passport either. It just you put your information there, and it's automatically validated by the Australian government, and you get the visa. Okay, that's how e-visa works. And there's nothing on your passport, but guess what? If you don't get a visa before you board the airplane, when they swipe your passport, ding ding, no visa, then you will not get on the airplane. Okay? So that's e-visa. And by the way, look at the passport. What does this? I can't show. This one. What is this? What does this symbol mean?
Like biometric.
By what?
Biometric passport.
That's right. There is a chip. There's a chip embedded in the passport. So high security. Anybody has a new passport? Anybody apply new passport in Spain? Yes, yours? When did you apply your passport?
A couple months ago.
Oh, yeah? So what kind of passport is it? How much did you pay? 100,
Maybe?
180, right?
I think it's about
Yes.
10-year one.
Yeah, very expensive. It's because two reasons. Number one, the passport is valid? How many years?
10 years.
10 years. Used to be 5 years. Number two, Canadian new passports has what? This chip embedded. So it's a newer passport. Many countries use this. It's just a higher security, so it's less chance to get stolen or get used by other people, illegal. Okay. And the next one is visa on arrival. This one is very convenient for applying. This one you need to know because some countries, yes, we do need visa, but there are two ways to get visa. Some countries allow you to have two ways to get visa. Number one way is, for example, last 2 years ago I went to Vietnam. Okay, so I have a Canadian passport. I need a visa to go to Vietnam, but you have two ways to get it. Number one, you can go to Vietnamese embassy in Ottawa. This way, first of all, I have to go downtown. I have to pay the parking. I have to wait to get a visa. It costs more. Okay, so I didn't choose that one. They give you the second option. The second option is actually called a visa on arrival. This is so cool. What does it do is you don't have to go to the embassy anymore. All you need to do is get online. There are some agencies, Vietnamese agencies. They take care of this visa on arrival. What they do is all they need your passport information, personal information, and then within 24 hours, they provide you with a document, like a PDF file. And it's called a visa on arrival document, okay? Then you pay $20 US. You print this document, and you get 2 passport pictures. You can, without visa, you can go arrive at Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. Then at the Ho Chi Minh City airport, you go to a booth. Then at there, you just get this visa on arrival. You see, you just pay certain money. So this one is a more convenient, cheaper, and also more convenient. You don't have to go to the embassy. It takes less time. Okay, you can do everything online. So that's called a visa on arrival. Make sense? So you know this knowledge, so you can tell your client. Check it out. Okay. Health and vaccination. Some countries, when you enter, you need a vaccination document. Has anybody traveled somewhere needs vaccination? No, I never traveled somewhere needs vaccination. Maybe, but I did it voluntarily. When I went to Vietnam, I got my hepatitis A, B, C, D, or whatever. I don't
Oh,
know.
I got that.
Yeah. Did you do that?
Yeah, I got that.
Where did you go?
The needle?
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to Cuba.
Yes, that's right. Some people suggested to get it, right?
It's just so I just got it because you can get it from the ice and stuff.
Yeah, especially Cuba is not that bad. The bad place is Mexico.
Yeah.
Mexico is quite bad. And some places in Asia, like India or Vietnam or whatever, it's because we're not used to that. So like even they suggest you to drink bottled water, right? And make sure it's because local people they are okay. It's just us, we're not used to that.
In
Okay?
Mexico, you gotta wash the bottled water because they break the seal. And
I
then they refill
know,
it, and then
I
they
know,
refill it and try to sell it to you.
I know. Be very careful. Okay. So and what time? Oh my God! So we can't finish, but that's all right. Okay, we can finish. We'll continue the next class. Okay. So we talk about all this, and now we're gonna start with international ferrying. Okay, this is an important part. Next week, the workshop will be based on whatever we talk about today. Okay. Next week we're gonna do the case study. Case study we don't have time today. Next week we're gonna do a case study. Then we have a workshop. Okay. So today we're gonna introduce international ferrying. Because before we do the calculation, how do we get those fare? We need to know the international terms, fare calculation terms. Number one is when we talk about international ferrying, it always, why do we call it international? It has to be what? 2 or more countries in your itinerary, right? And when we talk about 2 countries, there's one we have to, kind of exception is USA, because there's another term when we travel between Canada and USA is what? Transborder, okay? So when we talk about 2 or more here international, we're talking about other than USA. When you travel to USA, is it international travel? Absolutely, but we call it transborder, okay? You talk about transborder and flying fares because a faring calculation system is a little bit different, transborder and international. So here, when we talk international, 2 or more countries other than Canada and USA. So, and why it's getting complicated is because when you travel other countries, 2 or more countries involved, there's a currency problems, right? Because when you travel to Europe, you might have what? Euro or pounds or Swiss franc, right? When you travel to Japan, you might have what? Japanese yen, okay? So there are different currencies involved. And of course, when you travel to Japan, the taxes, Japanese taxes, what currency gonna be? They're gonna be Japanese yen. It's their countries, right? And when you travel to London, England, the taxes will be in what? British pound. Okay. So again, we are talking about Canada. We have Canadian dollar taxes. Then there's Japanese taxes. Then if your itinerary involves 3 or more countries, there will be even more currencies, right? So it's getting complicated. That's the reason why we introduce the next concept. It's a fake currency. I call fake currency. It's a fictitious. What does it mean? Is that because international itinerary involves different countries, different currencies, makes things so complicated. So IATA decided that, forgot about that. Whenever we do the international ferry, we all use NUC amount. This is a fake currency. So it's like a neutral currency. Doesn't matter which country is involved. We use this to construct the fare. Okay, new currency. Then later on, depending on what your client's paying, then you convert, do the conversion. Okay, so that's the reason why we call this a new currency. It's a fake. There's no bill or there's no coin for NUC. It's only used for international ferrying in terms of airline ticket. Okay, so that's NUC. Have you learned this from flight and fares? I don't think so, huh? They're only international. And so another concept, okay? Country of commencement, okay? So it makes a big difference when you do the international ferrying. You must know, where does this itinerary start? Which country does this itinerary start? That's what we call country of commencement. For example, this one, the itinerary starts from where? Ottawa. So country of commencement will be Canada, right? And some students, why do you need to know that? It will make a difference when you do the fare calculation. So the country commencement is a country in which international travel begins or originates. Same thing. The fare of the COC is known as a local fare when converting from one currency to another. The second sentence will probably you're a little bit confused now, but that's all right. When we talk more, we're gonna come back. Okay? So COC, but sometimes I do say COC. I'm not going to say country of commencement, so long. I just say, what is COC for this itinerary? Okay? So. And then, remember I talked about that fake currency? Now we're going to go in detail. What is that? What is it? Why do we call NUC? What does it stand for? It actually stands for neutral. Remember I said, it's not related to any country. It's a neutral. In order to do the international ferry, we make it up. They make it up. IATA makes it up. It's a neutral unit and a construction. Why do we call construction? It's about construct the fare. The only reason we introduce this fake currency is because to help us to construct the international fare. Okay, that's a NUC. Okay, neutral unit of construction. A fake currency for publishing international fares and used to calculate the fare when adding together fares from different currencies. Okay? So, give you an example. So the itinerary will be Ottawa to Toronto, Toronto to Tokyo, then Tokyo to Vancouver, Vancouver to Ottawa. So when they constructed the fare, rather than say, oh, we start from Ottawa, Canada, so the fare will be Canadian dollar how much? No, 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 that's not how to do that. Whenever it's an international itinerary, they always start with a NUC amount. How much is this fare in NUC amount? That's neutral. That's always where we start. Okay? Then later on, we're gonna do several conversion and see how, because your clients have no NUC amount of money. It's fake. Their pocket doesn't have, their credit card doesn't have NUC. Okay? In the end, we need to do several steps of conversion and convert into the currency your clients will be able to pay. Make sense? So for now, we just introduce NUC. So NUC are converted into local selling fare by using IATA rate of exchange. Again, this sentence doesn't make sense for you, okay? Because we don't know what is local selling fare. We don't know what is rate of exchange. But for now, just know NUC amount. When you construct a fare, step one, always how much is this fare in NUC amount, okay? That's a neutral one. Then, next concept is local selling fare, okay? What is local selling fare is, yes, I know the fare is NUC amount how much, but I can't ask my clients to pay by NUC. They don't have credit card NUC. They don't have currency NUC. They need to do what? To convert, okay? So in order to convert, I need to convert into local selling fare, okay? How much is this NUC amount equal to the local selling fare, okay? Equal to, where does this itinerary start, okay? So the fare in the currency of a country of commencement. So think about it. Whenever I say local selling fare, you always think about where does this itinerary start. This local selling fare currency is decided by where does this itinerary start. If itinerary starts from Canada, your local selling fare will be in Canadian dollars. But sometimes it can be like this. I travel one way. Haneda to Vancouver, Vancouver to Ottawa. What is COC?
Japan.
Japan. Okay? COC is the Japan, the country, the itinerary starts from Japan. Then, okay, so IATA said, okay, how much does Haneda to Vancouver, Vancouver to Ottawa cost? NUC amount, how much, right? Doesn't mean anything to me. I need to convert. First conversion, I need to convert into local selling fare. How much is local selling fare? So I need to know which currency is local selling fare. The currency is depending on COC. For this itinerary, COC is Japan. Then I need to convert into how much it is in Japanese yen. Make sense? Okay? That's step 2. Okay? Local selling fare. Next one is IATA rate of exchange. So some people say, how do I convert from NUC into local selling fare? How do I change it? 2 different currency. This is a thing you need to convert from NUC amount to local selling fare. It's called IATA rate of exchange. The rate of exchange used to convert NUC amount to local selling fare. Remember, this rate of exchange is different with rate of exchange we are seeing from exchange bureau, like exchange office. The exchange office, we see that exchange is what? Is you have $1,000 Canadian. I want to travel to Mexico. So tell me, how much is exchange rate? Then I times 1,000, I get how much? Do they use peso in Mexico?
Yes.
Yes, peso. So how much is it to get a $1,000 Mexico peso? Then I use the exchange rate. That exchange rate is different with this. This rate exchange is only time they use is in IATA to convert from fake currency to local selling fare. That's the only time you use. You don't use for any other places. Okay? So then local selling fare equals NUC amount times ROE. So IATA says, okay, this itinerary, how much NUC? Then I need to convert into how much in local selling fare. What do I use? ROE. So here, make sure you take those. What ROE? There are tons of ROE, depending on which currency, right? So yes?
Is it sort of the same as when you transformer between like the VSF?
That's right, very close. But this is a NUC amount, it's an exchange rate, right? But that's a very unique exchange rate. It only used to change from NUC to local solid fare. Nowhere else, okay? So, like what I said, there are so many ROEs. There's ROE Canada, there's ROE USA, there's ROE UK British Pound, there's ROE Japanese yen. Which one do I use? Which one do I use? Again, it depending on COC. For example, I gave you ROE UK. I gave you ROE Japanese yen. JPY. Okay. I gave you ROE COD. CAD. Okay? And which one do I use? It depending on where does your itinerary start. If your itinerary start from what? Japan, then which ROE do you use? Sorry. You use JPY, okay? Because what you want to do, you want to use a NUC amount, fake currency, times ROE Japanese yen, then you get local selling fare in Japanese yen. So how much is this itinerary in Japanese yen? Make sense? So you choose the right ROE, okay? Now, the question will be, before I do this, the question will be, I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay, for this one, if you have friends in Japan, they are coming to Canada, right? So you're paying the ticket, okay? You are paying the ticket. But this itinerary, you do the conversion, you do the NUC, and you say this is fake currency, I don't understand. Then what you do, you convert into local selling fare. This is in Japanese yen, okay? But here's the problem. Yeah, Japanese yen is real currency. I know how much Japanese yen. But do you have Japanese yen in your pocket? Your credit card is in Japanese yen. No, your credit card is in what? Canadian dollar. So this is not the end. You are issuing ticket in Canada. Then Japanese yen doesn't make sense to me. I need to do what? Convert again from one real currency, Japanese yen, to how much in Canadian dollar, because that's how I pay. Here is a currency you are going to use, which you learn from Flight and Fares. It's converting from one real currency to another real currency. That's a currency you're going to see at the airport exchange bureau. That's a currency is converted from two real currencies. Okay? So, what rate of exchange we're going to introduce? Now it's called bank selling rate. That's you saw in Flight and Fares. Okay? So this one is a real currency from Japanese yen, convert from one to another. Japanese yen to Canadian. Both are real, so you use BSR. The only ROE, do you use ROE? No. ROE is exchange rate, but the only time you use ROE is to convert from fake to local solid fare. Make sense? Don't worry about it. It's a lot. You see, I was talking like crazy, a lot. But next week we're gonna do a case study. We're gonna practice, okay? So local selling fare, Japanese yen times BSR, you get currency of the country of payment. We're in Canada, we pay Canadian dollar. In the end, we need to know how much is Canadian dollar. Okay, some examples. Canadian dollars times BSR, you get US dollar. Or Japanese yen, that fare costs 50,000 Japanese yen. I need to convert times our BSR. I get, it's only 420 Canadian dollar. Okay, examples. Next one. International faring terms, okay? So there's two types of international fares. One is a normal, all year long, mileage-based fare. This one, people don't buy a lot. We don't sell a lot. This is the one you are doing in CR1. Remember in CR1, you always do sell one Y1, sell one F1, sell one J1. That's the one, right? And those ones in real life, you seldom, very rare you sell those fairs. Why is that? Remember flight and fairs, when you do $CR2, when you do $D, you have to go page down 10 times to look at those fares. Because what? They have the full fare economy, full fare business. You travel from Ottawa to Toronto, guess how much is that? $500, okay? Who's gonna pay $500 from Ottawa to Toronto one way? Very few people, right? When I say very few people, it doesn't mean zero, because some people do have to do that. The benefit of that fare is what? No restriction, right? Okay? So normal fares are the unrestricted year-round fares. No special, like you don't have to travel during your stay, or it's not a promotional sale, okay? These are also generally the fares constructed to the mileage principle, okay? This one, I believe, flight and fares, Jamie or Karen has talked about it. Mileage-based fare. Did they mention the MPM, TPM, right? Sounds familiar? MPM at least, okay? So when they talk the mileage principle is that, very quickly, what is mileage principle? Mileage principle is always, most of the time happen to the normal full fare, very expensive fare. Is what they say is that they don't care when you travel between Ottawa to Vancouver, Ottawa to Tokyo, Ottawa to Beijing. They don't care where you make connection. You pay big bucks. You can connect 10 times. You can connect anywhere, okay? You don't have to follow certain routing. You can, Ottawa to Vancouver, you can do this, listen. You can do Ottawa to Thunder Bay, Thunder Bay to Toronto, Toronto to Calgary, Calgary to Manitoba or whatever. And you can zigzag, okay? Because you pay big money. All they care is that with the money you pay, your total mileage do not go over the one they set. Then you pay that fare, you're fine. You can travel backtrack or whatever, no problem. Okay? Because you pay big money, you pay the full fare. Okay? That's what we call mileage-based fare. Don't care where you make connection. You don't have to follow certain routing. Make sense? That's a mileage-based fare. But like what I said, most people don't use mileage-based fare. Okay? Because they're expensive. This is the one most people use. It's called discount restricted routing. That's a key word. Okay? That's a special discount promotional APAC fare. In another world, when you do in another word is when you do $D, it's a top page 1, page 2, page 3 fares. Okay? Those are the cheap fares. And those other system is based on the routing. When I talk about the routing-based fare, it means at this point they do care. Between Ottawa and Vancouver, they do care. You must follow my routing, which means you must do Ottawa, Toronto, Toronto, Vancouver, or Ottawa, Calgary, Calgary to Vancouver. You can't do the one I just said. Ottawa, Calgary, Calgary to Thunder Bay, Thunder Bay to Vancouver. No, because you're wasting the what? The fee, right? Because you pay lower fare. So I have to ask you to follow certain routing. Make sense? International, the same thing. You're traveling from Ottawa to Tokyo, right? They won't let you to do this. Ottawa to San Francisco, San Francisco to Toronto, Toronto to Tokyo. No. Why? Why they can't let you do that? Ottawa to San Francisco to Toronto, Toronto to Tokyo. Yeah, you're coming back. You're traveling west, then you're coming back east. Then you're going west again. You're wasting fuel. So the airline will not let you do that. But if you pay full fare, they might let you do that. You pay big money, okay? So that's a routing-based fare. What time? Okay. You know what? I think I finished. Oh boy. You know what? I'm not gonna finish this one. Next class I'll continue. Okay. For now, I'm gonna stop here. But guys, don't leave yet because I need to talk about the homework. Okay. So this is international fare types. I'm gonna leave it here. So let's look at the next class. We're gonna go in detail about how to construct the fair. Okay. Homework. Homework. You need to study week 3 city airport code. Okay, and period code. And next week we're gonna have a 1% in class quiz, very similar to today's quiz. Not very hard, but as long as you study based on what I suggest. And you must bring your laptop. Huh? And OTG certificate. Some students say, okay, you don't collect it. Why do I bother doing it? Okay. First of all, it's not all about tests. It's not all about marks. Okay. And it's about learning knowledge. And again, there's something about the marks because all those questions will be very possibly in your week 6 20% test. Okay? Any questions? No? Okay, so that's all for today. And oh, wait a second. Attendance, please. Make sure you sign it. I forgot. Caesar, can you turn on the light, please?